Hi everyone, and welcome back again. We're continuing our talk all about money and finances, and we've got Rob with us this week from Roche Financial Partners, and I'm hitting him with all of our good questions. So another one that's come up is for folks who are saying, listen, I don't have a big portfolio of savings that I'm looking to invest and grow, but I do have all these financial questions that come up day after day, and that could be, I have to handle my next car. Should I be leasing or buying? Some of these more tactical questions where even if I don't have a big portfolio that I need money management for, is there still room for expert help?
Yeah, and this is where the industry's really transitioned through the years. In the beginning, it was all about how much money do you have and I'll help you invest that. And luckily, and to my satisfaction, because I think this is extremely important, we've moved a little bit away from that, and that an individual who perhaps doesn't have a lot saved, as you mentioned, or perhaps maybe there's all their money's in their retirement 401k at their job, but they have many questions because they're going through that very important stages of life, as I mentioned in an earlier video. They just got married and they have a kid on the way, and they're looking to buy a house and a car all within the next 2 years. That's an extremely important stage, and those people require and are seeking a lot of financial guidance and advice. And I have to admit, selfishly, I love that stage of life. I love talking to those folks because I think I can make a real difference in providing guidance around that. That goes back to an earlier video too. You have to make sure you find an advisor who focuses on those sort of questions, that they want to sit down and talk to you about those things, and they have a pricing model and structure that fits for that and fits for you. But they are out there, me included, who really enjoy sitting down and helping with all those questions.
And it's funny, I feel like those big life, changing into a new chapter of your life, sometimes we start to think like, wow, I haven't been here before, like who do I ask? Is it a parent? Is it a friend? And this is really turning to someone who just has more experience. So if it is, as you say, people either just getting started or maybe starting with a new job and want to move and look for that next house, using that as an example, where do you even start? If people come to you and just say, how much should I even be spending on my next house?
Yeah, houses are an interesting one, and there's two ways to approach that. Whenever you buy a house, as we all probably are aware, there's two components of buying a house. There's a down payment, and then there's an actual monthly payment. So as I always categorize it, there is a balance sheet decision to be made, which is your down payment, how much you're going to take from your savings, and then there's a income statement decision to be made. How much of a monthly payment can you fit within your monthly budget? So you have to take a look at those two independently and say, well, I know I can spend $150,000 on a down payment, and I can take that out of my balance sheet, and it fits with the other plans I have in life for me and my family, if you look at everything holistically. And then once you make that decision, you look at your income statement and you say, well, based on my income, my family's income, I know I can do a $1,200 a month mortgage payment, including taxes and insurance, because I looked at my budget carefully with my advisor or myself, and I said, all right, this would fit just fine. This isn't going to be a burden for me. I can still do the other things I need to do for my family. And once you decide that, that will then determine the price of house that you can afford. But I would always start with that versus saying, well, I think I want to go out and buy a $500,000 house. You always start with, how much can I put up for a down payment? How much will fit within my budget without it being a burden for all the other things in life? And that'll then tell you how much you're going to spend on that house.
It's such a different take, I think, from, sometimes the default is like, well, I don't know. Let's go out and see what I can qualify for, and we'll kind of, reach as far as we can, and that can lead to some of the ongoing stress, I suppose.
I always tell my clients, just because you can doesn't mean you should when it comes to buying large purchases like that. You have to make sure it makes sense for all the other things you want to do in life.
I think that's so interesting too, because again, and maybe it's where you started, of so often we think of money management as investing my portfolio, but really bringing it down to the cash flow management every month, like what's coming in and out, and how to be really smart about the investments that I make, including the house that I'm going to buy. So that's so helpful.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Rob. We will be back again, and keep sending in your questions.